LPI Linux certification exam basis on our Linux fans request. We'll go through the questions like how we can solve those questions in our one topic which is LPI 0160 exam. So we'll discuss all each of if these questions. So the first question, let's discuss what are the difference between the hard disk drive and the solid state drive. Okay, so we would check here what hard disk drive means and solid disk state drive means. We have to choose any two. Okay, so the first we have hard disk have motor and moving parts. Solid disk state disk do not. Okay, and hard disk can fail due to physical damage while solid state disk cannot fail. Now, third would be solid state disk can store many times as much data as hard disk drive. That is absolutely true. And this Dave SDA is a standard, it's a hard disk device, while Dave SDA is a solid state device. That is also true. Solid state disk provide faster access to store data than hard disk. So, more or less, all the 3 points we these are the valid we can say, and let's reveal the solution what they are trying to say the A and E. Okay, now what the discussion in the discussion forum what they have to hard disk drive have motor and moving parts, solid disk drive do not have. That is absolutely true, and SSD also provides faster access to stored data than HDD. So that is very absolutely correct thing. That means we have to go with the solution A and E, which is in green flag. Okay. So coming to the next question, reverse DNS assigns host name to IP address. How is the name of IP address this stored on the DNS server? Okay. Now, basis on this, which record they are trying to say in our DNS record, as we know that there are A record, PTR record, RNAME record, okay, which is stored on the DNS server. So let's ask our Chat GPT what is the answer we will get here. So I would be copy and pasting here to get the approach name of the IP address. This is stored in the DNS server as a PTR record. For the reverse DNS, okay, for the reverse DNS it's asking, and which is in the form of APA, that is APIPA protocol, which is starting with 165.100. So the correct answer in this way they are saying is PTR record. Now, the more elaborate explanation also can be found in reverse DNS. The IP address is written in reverse order. Okay, with each segment separated by dot and ending in the reverse with the reverse domain name, okay, which is we can see in the second example. Now, for example, the IP address this would be represented as in the form of this one, and means in the reverse form they can write and with the in address dot arpa. So this pointer record used to map the IP address to a host name. In this case, the PTR record would contain the host name associated with the IP address. Okay. So that's all for it. And now we will see we can go ahead with the option B here, which is the absolutely correct option. Now we'll go with the question three. Which of the following types of bus can connect hard disk drive with the motherboard? Let's see the solution. So I believe it's a SATA device. Yeah, D. Okay, now what elaborate solution we can also get it here from our chat GPT, what they are trying to say. Stop generating. Okay, the type of bus that can connect hard disk drive with motherboard is SATA, which is the Serial Advanced Technology Attachment Bus. Okay, so great. Here we are getting the full form also with the correct answer D. And with the more elaborate discussion further. So SATA bus is a high-speed serial bus that provides faster data transfer rate between the hard disk drive and motherboard. Okay, it's a very popular interface to connect hard disk drives and solid state drives, which is an optical drive to an optical drive to a computer's motherboard. Whereas RAM, okay, the other case also they are trying to say, discuss. It is used to transfer data between CPU and computer's RAM. That we all know. NUMA bus, which is also non-uniform memory access. It's a type of system which is used on high-end servers. Okay, NUMA bus would be on high-end servers. They are easy. Now about the CPU bus, it's a front side bus FSB. It connects the CPU to the system memory and other peripherals, whereas the auto bus it's not a real type of bus. So we will go with the option in that case the SATA, which is the D option. And now we will see the question 4. Okay, members of the team have already have experience with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. For a small hobby project, the team wants to set up a Linux server without paying for a subscription. Which of the following distributions allows the team members to apply as much of the Red Hat Enterprise Linux knowledge as possible? I believe it's Debian. No, CentOS, because it's a free distro. And let's see what the discussion meeting say. The CentOS, okay, uses the freely available source code of Red Hat Enterprise Linux and compiles into a free distribution. So that's the reason the D is the correct answer. Okay, let's go with the next question. Now here it's asking I'm not a robot, so let's verify. And okay, we are good with the question 5. Okay, now we will see what information can be displayed by top. Let's go ahead. Top would be running process ordered by CPU or RAM consumption. That's very true. And there's no doubt in it to go for explanation. Which of the following commands can be used to resolve DNS name into IP address? Okay. So in DNS names to IP address, which command will use the host option? Let's elaborate this question more in our forum, in our chat GPT forum. Okay, the command can be used to resource host. The host command is a command line utility that is perform DNS lookup. Okay, it will use to query DNS servers to obtain the IP address of a specific domain name or obtain the domain name associated with the specific IP address. We can also read aloud with this what they are trying to say. Okay, so now we are good with the option the option D, which is host. We can also see in our test lab, we can do it host, then it will show all the entries which is equivalent to the communicate with the DNS. Okay. Now next we will, which of the following outputs comes from the command line free? Okay, it's a very big screen. Output comes from the command line, command free. Okay, free command what will show? We have learned that it will depict the memory which is left and swap space how much used total. So I believe it's option E. Yeah, absolutely correct. Because if you will give the command here free, so I will leave that see in the screen and I will give it the command free. Okay, then it will depict the total space, the swap space, the used and free space occupied by the system. Okay. Now next we will go ahead with the option which is the true about D message command. Choose any two. D message command, but it's the first time I would be hearing it. Okay, D message command. It options are true about D message command. It displays the contents of the Linux kernel ring buffer, and also it might not display the older information because it was overwritten by the new information. So this is the explanation of C and E. They are saying why the reason, because kernel buffer is there, and kernel buffering buffer what it is do, it is a circular buffer that stores the kernel messages. Okay, so we can ask our guide to, so we would ask them. Okay, so we are good with going option C and E here. Okay, now we'll go with the next question. Okay, so almost is asking it's B and G. Okay, then we'll do. Okay, ninth question is which of the following outputs would stem from the command last? Okay, last command, what we'll do? Let's try our command line is sent to the Ubuntu operating system. It's still logged in and will begins at 27th of April. So let last login would be this much from the example, and I believe it's option E. Okay, root and privileges also it's telling. So here sysadmin. Okay, so mainly it's telling about the discussion part. Let's see what they are trying to say. Listing of last logged in users. The answer is simple output. Okay. So last logged in user we can see here in our Ubuntu operating system as well, sysadmin user. And let's go ahead with the next question. So what is the UID of the user root? Okay, UID of the user root would be the one which is option E because the root has UID of root 0 to assign the root. Selected answer will be okay. Now, what permissions are set on a regular file once the permission has been modified with the command chmod 654 file.txt? Okay. Now they are trying to say what permissions are being assigned. So I believe it's option E. Yes, because read write permissions would be we can define it in like this way. When we go to paint, we can learn this very format like for permit when we go for R. Sorry. Okay, let me do this way. R equal to permission, which is read permission for, then write permission is stands for two, then so it would be RW, then read minus means R again would be, which would be option two, then X would be assigned for zero, which is execute permission, and R minus, which is for uh, other permission, which is one. Okay, so in this case, what we will do, how the permission will work, let's see here. Here it will check, no 654. How the 654 will work? So RW will be going with this one. So this option would be, this would be in six. Okay, this would be six option. And now 5 4. How to bring 5 4? So R, then minus. Okay. So this would be our R minus and 5 4. 4 would be for the uh means again R XR. So let's see. 654 reads and secret permissions. Secret permissions for the group 5 and sets the read permissions for other 654. Okay. So here the file.txt r minus this is the owner has read, write, and execute permissions. The group had the read permission, read and execute permissions. Group with what is the group has the read and execute permissions, and others will have only the read only permissions. So that's the reason it's a 654. Okay. Now four how we will define. So that will be here the part would be having the here R will be having the 4 read write 4. So R minus 1 as you can say, and that's the reason we will go ahead with the option. Uh, E would be the option. Now, what is true about the honor of a file? An owner of a file has full permissions while accessing the file. That's absolutely true. Each file is exactly owned exactly by one user and one group. Yeah, that is true. We can say it is true about the owner of a file. The option is true about the owner of a file. Okay. So in Linux-based operating system, we can say each file is owned by exactly one user and only one group. The owner of the file has certain permissions that control access of the file, including read, write, and execute permissions. Again, the group associated with the certain file also has certain permissions, and all users who are members of that group have those permissions when assigning the file. So the correct answer will be option A in this case. And now we go with the next question. Okay, review Robert, NPA, LA. Let's see, submit the captcha. QEGA. Okay, let's see now the question number 13. 20 database latest presentation from you command. Okay. Okay, which of the following permissions set on the temp directory? Now, for checking the temp directory permissions, we can check with the here what all permissions on a temporary directory. Linux are RW X read write execute, then read write, then execute, then read write and temp directory. Okay. Now option B does not have the execute permissions for so it's not a valid directory for the user. So we have the owner group and also the others to use those execute permissions and within the directory, and RWT, which is responsible for directory, is a sticky bit set, which means the owner of the file can delete the file also, which is this last three digits can delete the file even if other users have write permissions on the directory. Okay. Okay. And what about the option C? Has a set the set not the sticky bit but also has the right permissions for all users, which is not secure for a directory like temp directory. Now RWX has the set bit set, not the sticky bit, also does not allow other users to access the files within the directory. Okay. Now this has the execute permissions for the owner and group but not for other users. Does not have write permissions for any user, which is appropriate for a directory like temp. Okay. So we will go here with option A. Okay. And we will check here, reveal the solution. Which command adds a new user tux and creates the user's home directory with the default configuration files. So let's copy that. So user add would be create add command non user on a Unix based option. So we have to go with option B and C. Let's see. But with the default it's same. So so option B they are saying is the correct answer. Whereas this is not correct. Adds an user without creating a home directory, but this would create the home directory even. First it will create new user and then a dollar this hyphen name command will create a home directory for that new user, and this D option would use to specify those home directory, and by user add will create the home directory in the home user add will create the home directory in the home directory with the same name as the user. Okay, so the option B would be the correct in this case. When we reveal the solution, yes, we are good here. Now, what information is stored in etc pass w directory? Okay. BC and the numerical user ID, the username which is most voted, and the user's default shell. So B, C, and E, these are the correct option. When we go to discussion, let's see. So user ID, user's default name. So C and D, encrypted user and password is stored in interface. Select is somewhere. Now, which of the following tar options handle the compression? Okay, which is the we see B and D option, hyphen Z and hyphen J. Hyphen G that would have no impact on the compression. Okay, so B and D only, which is this hyphen Z and hyphen J. So these are the options which we go ahead. Now we will again go for our capture what they are trying to say for moving to next question. Okay. Okay. So we are reading the page number 5 now for our questions. Let's see. Fill blanks. You take your pause. Okay. What keyword is used in a shell script to begin in a loop? What shell would specify only keyword without any additional information? Okay. So what can for is begin with for loop. So see for I in a loop for while loop. The keyword for is not to do to begin a loop. Okay. So let's see what they are trying to say here. In a shell script to begin in a loop. Okay, we can use the for with while loop or sorry, the for loop we can use in a shell script to begin a loop. So that would be very uh, friendly keyword to start the loop. And next, the following commands creates an archive file work.tar from the contents of the directory work. Okay, so which the archive file we know that we can create with the tzdf command and or you can also create with the tar file from the contents of directory dot work. Okay, this is the directory. Then we can create a tar file with this extension. Let's see option B. I believe this should not be the answer because I think it's option C, not option B. Okay. Okay, C option would to be CFES. We can create a compression archive file for compression. F option will specify the name of archive file. So in that case, you want to create an archive file, then work.tar from the contents of .work directory. Therefore, the option B would be the correct option. Okay, so tar option B is the correct answer. CF work hyphen tar. Okay, so this is the correct option for going with the our tar C file. Okay, which of the following keys can be pressed to exit less? D option because this can be used with the quit option. Okay, that is for coolant. Okay. Okay, so in this option we can go ahead. Suppose I type less command and I will have to quit missing help. Okay, you can scroll one line, move up, line up. Okay, so that you can use with the less pattern, less command for scrolling up and down. Okay, so if you have to go press Q command, you can do or you can do this also. Okay, so this we can say that we can exit command via this option, which is option E, which is very correct. Okay. Now coming number to question number 20. Guys, so this is our 20th question we have completed in Linux exams. Great. The current directory contains the contains the following files, and given that this file is a valid shell script, how can this script be executed? Okay, let's reveal the solution. I think D and E option would be because that's the root directory. So we will mention here the root, and the file name is test.sh. Okay, and what about the D? You can also execute this file by bash command. Okay, great. So these are the discussion forum here. Let's see what discussion they have done. They have given this only. Let's see our uh, chat GPT what says, if there is any explanation they are trying to give. Let's go ahead. Okay. So the option B is not a valid command, but yes, the two correct ways to execute the test shell script are this and this option. Option D and E, test sh and bash sh. Special location of test sh file and execute its bash will commands on in the bash shell interrupter. Okay. Okay, so great. We have completed our section of 5 pages with 20 questions. So thank you for watching, guys.